Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another YouTuber skin statue. This time, I'm going to be showing you how to make SlyFoxHound. So, if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need sandstone, black wool, brown wool, dark green, lime, purple, white, and finally, orange wool. Those are the only colours that we're going to be needing. He actually uses a nice little array of colours. So, once you've got those and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'm going to be making him right here. You're going to want to start everything off with a row of 8 black wool in a row on the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to give you the base layer of our Mr. Foxhound. So once you have got your row of 8 black wool, here's what you want to do. You're going to want to throw another row of 8 black directly on top of it to give you 2 rows of 8 black wool. What you then want to do on top of your 2 rows of black is throw a row of white wool on top of them. So you're going to want to have 2 rows of black and 1 row of white, and here's where the volume comes in. On top of that, you're going to want to do 8 solid rows of black wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So mark those out and fill them in, or whatever your preferred method may be. All that matters is that you end up with 8 solid rows of black wool on top of your 2 rows of black and 1 row of white. And once you have done those, we've almost done the legs. All we have to do, once you have done that, your 8 solid rows of black, for the 12th and final row of the legs, is throw a single orange wool on the ends of the next row, and then black everywhere else. And once you've done that, you have done the entire leg section of our Mr. SlyFoxHound. So pause this if you have to catch up. Once you've done that, it's time to move on to the torso. So here's what you're going to want to do for the torso. We're going to be doing this in an unorthodox method. So here's what you want to do. Directly on top of the 2 little orange that we have on the left and right hand side here, you're going to want to do 2 more rows of orange that are 12 high. So directly on top of these, you're going to want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to give you something which should look a little bit like that. And once you've done those 2 rows of orange, it's time to add 2 more directly next to the 2 rows that you've already done. So coming towards the center of the statue, you're going to want to throw 2 more rows of orange directly next to your orange to give you something which should look a little bit like that. So pause this if you have to catch up. Once you've done that, we can work on the torso. All we've done here is we've made it easier for us to do the torso, and now we're going to be doing it in the conventional way, starting from the bottom here and just building it up. However, all we have to do now is just focus on these 4 middle blocks. So what you're going to want to do once you've done all of that orange there is, for the first 2 rows of the torso, is you're going to want to do 2 solid rows of purple wool. So 1 and 2. What you're then going to want to do is 2 solid rows of lime green. So 1 and 2. Next row, here's where things get a little tricky. It's not tricky. You're just going to want to throw a single dark green block on the right hand side of that row, and then lime wool everywhere else. For the next row after that, you're just going to want to do an entire row of lime green. Next row after that, or the next 2 rows as I should say, you're going to want to throw a single dark green on the left and the right hand side of the row. So as I said, 2, so stack 2 up on there. And then everywhere else you just want to place lime green. Then for the next 2 rows after that, you're going to want to do 2 entire rows of lime wool. And then to finish this all off, you're just going to want to do 2 entire rows of purple wool to finish off the torso and give you something which should look a little bit like that, a little slime peeking through the orange at you. So that is what you're going to want for the torso. Pause this if necessary. Once you've reached this point right here, it's time for us to move on to the arms, and the arms are extremely easy. So you're going to want to come down in line with the first row of the torso, which is this row right here, the orange and purple row, and you're going to want to extend out either side of this row right here by 4 with your sandstone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the other side of the row as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, to give you something which should look like that. And those are the 2 base layers of the arms. So once you have done that, we're going to be working on the right hand side first. So coming over to the right hand side, on top of this row of 4 sandstone that we have here, you're going to want to stack 2 more rows of sandstone, so 1 and 2, to give you 3 solid rows of sandstone. And all you have to do after that, the rest of the arm is just entirely black wool. So here's how I like to do it, but all that matters after you've done your 3 rows of sandstone is that the rest of the arm is just entirely black wool. I like to make things into shapes and just fill them in, so this is no exception. Just turn that into a rectangle and then just fill in the middle section. But as I said, all that really does matter is that the rest of the arm is just entirely black wool to give you something which should look a little bit like that. So pause that if necessary. That's the entire arm, nothing difficult about it whatsoever. So once you've done that, it's time to move on to the other arm, and the other arm is the exact same. So on top of your row of sandstone, stack 2 more rows. So you've got 3 rows of sandstone, and then, as I said, just like with the other arm, the rest of the arm is just entirely black wool. So however you'd like to accomplish that, really up to you. All that matters is both of the arms should look exactly like that. Nothing much to them whatsoever. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, let me show you what you want to have so far for the front of the statue. I say so far. That is the entire front of the statue once you've done the legs, torso and both of the arms. Alright, so once you've reached this point right here, and to pause this if necessary of course, it's time for us to move on to the back of our statue. So first of all, you're going to want to come down to the bottom of our statue. Then you're going to want to come around the back here. And I always find this really difficult to explain, but it's really easy to do. So what you're going to want to do, from each edge of the feet, you're going to want to do a row of 3 black wool coming out of the back of them. So 1, 2, 3, and on the other side as well, 1, 2, 3, to give you 2 rows of 3 black wool on either end of the statue coming out of the back. So once you've done that, all you're going to want to do is connect those 2 rows together, back block, to give you something which should look like that. So once you've done that, you have the base layer for the back and sides of the statue, and what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be building up the entire back of the statue just as we've built up the front of the statue. So for now, you're just going to want to focus on these back 8 blocks that we have here, and just ignore these 2 that we have on the left and right hand side. So for the second row of the back of the statue, and these next couple of parts are going to seem kind of familiar to you, what you're going to want to do, on top of this row of on top of this row of black, you're going to want to throw another row of black on top of it. So you're going to want to have 2 rows of black wool like that. What you're then going to want to do on top of your 2 rows of black is throw on top a row of white. So just as you did on the front, you're going to want to have 2 rows of black and 1 row of white. On top of that, and again this may seem familiar as well, you're going to want to do 8 solid rows of black wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Equally so, you didn't really have to count them out, you could have just lined it up with like the front of the statue, but you know, however. So 8 rows of black on top of your 2 rows of black and white. Again, however you want to accomplish that doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you have your 8 solid rows of black wool. So you're going to want to have something which should look a little bit like this. And once you've done that, to finish off the entire back of the legs, all you're going to want to do is throw on top an entire row of orange wool. So the back of the legs are slightly different to the front, ever so slightly. About 6 orange blocks slightly. So that is what you want for the entire back of the legs. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, here's where it gets extremely simple. So for the back, all the back is SlyFoxHound appears to be wearing some sort of jacket. So all he has on his back is just orange wool. So all you're going to want to do for the back is, again, however you'd like to accomplish this. I like making things into shapes. However you want to do it, all that matters is that the entire back of the statue is just quite simply orange wool. So if you want to turn things into shapes like I do, or if you want to stack them row by row by row, up to you. All that matters is that you will be left with something that should look a little bit, once you've done it, like this. Doesn't get simpler than that. That is the entire back of the statue. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, You may still be working on that. It's time for us to move on to the back of the arms, and the back of the arms are extremely easy for us to do as well, because they are quite simply the same as the front of the arms. So just line up where you have the front of the arms right here, do the exact same thing that you did on the front, and then quite literally do the exact same thing that you did on the front, as they are the exact same. So just copy what you have on the front onto the back. So the positioning, including the colouring, just copy it. There's no need for instructions here whatsoever, when all you have to do is just look directly forward at what you already have, and you will be good to go. So once you've done that, you should be left with something that should look a little bit like that. So that is what you want for the back of the arms. Very easy. Pause this if necessary, of course. Let me show you what you want to have for the entire back of the statue, as the back of the arms were the last piece of the puzzle. So once you've reached this point right here, and again, pause this if necessary, of course, it's time for us to move on to the sides of the statue. So pick a side, any side, it really doesn't matter which one, honestly. I'm going to be starting on this side as always. Come down to the bottom of the legs, and you'll notice that we have these two blocks to fill in here. Well, how do we figure out which colour to put in there? It's really easy. All we're going to be doing is matching the two blocks that we have in the middle here to the blocks that we have on the left and right hand side here. So we have black on the left and right here, put black in the two middle spaces. We have white on the left and right here, put white in the middle. So on and so forth, right up the side of the legs. So right up to the top, except where we have this little bit of orange here. You just throw orange there, and that is all you want to do for the side of the legs. Very easy, very simple, nothing much to it whatsoever. That's why I did it quite quickly. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to go and do the exact same thing up on the side of the arms. So for the bottom of the hands, you just want to fill those in with sandstone, of course. You want to make sure that the statue is airtight, don't want any holes down here. And in filling in the bottom of the hands, you will have made the side of the arms as well. Sandstone on the left and right, sandstone in the middle, seems right to me. We're going to be doing the exact same thing that we did on the side of the legs. So again, just copy what you have on the left and the right hand side and just apply it to these two center blocks, and that just applies all the way up to the side of the arm where we just have black. So that is what you want for the side of the arm. Nothing much to it whatsoever. Pause this if necessary, of course. Up to the top of the shoulder. Coming up to the top of the shoulder, all you want to do is you just want to fill in, coming in by 3, the top of the shoulder in with black. So you just have to come up to here where we have the orange, cut it off there, just come in by 3 with the black. Nothing complicated about it whatsoever. So that's what you want for the top of the shoulder. Let me show you the entire side of the statue once it's done. So that is what you want for the entire side of the statue. Pause this if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, you can go and do the exact same thing on the other side of the statue. And I'm going to be doing this a lot faster since I'm sure you guys understand what we're doing now. So all you have to do, obviously, as I've said about 1,000 times already, just copy what you have on the left and right into the two middle spaces of the side of your statue, and you will be good to go. So just already on the arms here, nothing much to it whatsoever, just doing the exact same thing that I did on the other side, including the top of the shoulder. Remember that you have to come in by at least 3, although it doesn't matter if you come in by more, but 3 somewhat mandatory if you want to make sure that the statue has no holes in it. So just to show you this side of the statue as well, for whatever reason, maybe you guys want to take a look at it, I don't know, but that is what you want for that side of the statue. Looks exactly the same as the other one, nothing complicated about it whatsoever. So pause this if necessary. Once you've reached this point right here, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 75% done. I usually say about 80%, but it's about 75% with this one. So all you've got to do once you've done the entire front, entire back, and entire sides of the statue, it's time for us to give this body a head. So here's what you're going to want to do once you have reached this point. And again, pause this if you need to catch up. Maybe you're still working on the sides. So you're going to want to, once you are at this point, come around to the front of your statue. You're going to want to come right to the top here where we have these 8 blocks of the torso. Right here, this little colourful bit, the orange and purple. And on top of these 8 blocks that we have right here, you're going to want to stack a row of 8 sandstone directly on top of them. So you're going to want to do that. What you then want to do, in front of that row of sandstone that you've made, that's right, in front of that row, you're going to want to do another row of sandstone, like so. What you're then going to want to do in front of the row of sandstone that you've just made, it's going to be the first row of the face, so it's got to be slightly detailed. Here's what you want to do. You're going to want to, in front of it, as I said, you're going to want to do 2 sandstone on the left and right hand side coming in towards the centre, leaving these 4 middle blocks right here. And then you're just going to want to fill in those 4 middle blocks in with black to give you the bottom of his, I'd say goatee, but I honestly don't know what this black thing is on his face. I don't know whether it's like a mouth mustache combination or what, but yeah, I would guess some sort of facial hair, kind of like a Captain Hook mustache or something, I don't know. But that is what you want for the first row of the face, and that row wants to be overhanging the front of the statue by 2, so it wants to be right there. So what you're going to want to do, directly on top of this row right here, since we're now working on the front of the face, what you want to do on top of here is quite simple. You're going to want to, for the next row, do a single sandstone on the left and the right hand side of the row, 2 sandstone on the 2 centre spots right there, and then black everywhere else. For the next row, you're going to want to do again a single sandstone on the left and right hand side, and then a single black coming in towards the centre next to the sandstone, and then sandstone everywhere else. For the next row, you're going to want to do an entire row of sandstone, so throw an entire row of sandstone there. For the next row, you're going to want to do this, and this may be slightly tricky. You know what? It's not tricky whatsoever. So for the next row, you're going to want to do 2 sandstone in the 2 centre blocks, a single brown either side of the sandstone, a single white either side of the brown, and then to finish it all off, a single black on the ends of the row just to finish off the row. So those are his eyes. For the next row, you're going to want to throw a single black on the left and the right hand side of the row, and then sandstone everywhere else. And then for the final row, and this is 1 row shorter than your average statue, you're going to want to do an entire row of black walls. So you're just going to want to have something which should look like that. That is a really creepy face without the hood. That really is. I don't like that one bit. Alright, so that is what you want for the entire face. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we can move on to the rest of the head. So, unfortunately for us, SlyFoxHound does not have a conventional head. In its place, it would appear that he has a fox-themed hood. And this may be a little tricky for me to explain because the hood is a slightly peculiar shape. However, it should hopefully be easy enough to follow regardless. So, let's get cracking. First things first, here's what you're going to want to do. With your orange wool, starting from the top left-hand corner of our face, so right in front of it here, you're going to want to do this. So, place an orange wool, place one on top. To the right of that second orange, you're going to want to drag it all the way over to the other side of the head, in line with the black wool, and then place an orange underneath it to give you a little orange bridge shape, which is in front of / above the head. Hopefully, easy enough to see what I've done. Once you've done that, here's what you're going to want to do. Directly next to the 2 orange that we have in the left and the right hand side here, you're going to want to place 2 browns. So here and here. So you're going to want to have that, and I'm pretty sure those are the tips of the fox ears. Might be wrong there, I'm not sure. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come to the side of the head here, and starting from the left of this top brown block here, you're going to want to do 3 white coming across the back of the head, so like this, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to want to do 1 brown. Then you're going to want to come underneath here, and starting from this second brown going down, throwing rhymes out here, you're going to want to do 2 white going left, followed by 1 brown, like this. What you're then going to want to do underneath these 2 white is just 2 brown, so you're going to want to have that. And once you've done that, you're going to want to go and do the exact same thing on the other side. So coming over to the other side here, just as we did on that side, you're just going to want to, from this top round block, going right this time towards the back of the head, you're going to want to do 3 white, followed by 1 brown. Then you're going to want to go underneath it, and right of the second brown, 2 white, 1 brown. And then underneath these 2 white here, you're just going to want to do 2 brown to give you something which should look a little bit like this. Now, we've got a little bit more detailing to do here. However, it is not anywhere near what I thought it was. So, coming up here, coming up on top of the head now, all you want to do, on top of the head, next to these 3 white here, you're just going to want to do 3 brown. So, on that side and that side, you're just going to want to have something which, from the top, should look like that. And honestly, that is a lot easier than I thought it would be. That is the only detail that is present in Mr. SlyFoxHound's hood. So once you've done that, and hopefully that was easy enough to do, not too difficult to do whatsoever, it's time for us to just shape the hood a little bit, and then we just have to fill it in. So still on the front of the statue, whilst we're here, we may as well start from here. Here's what you're going to want to do, and let me just scan my plans to see if I can get a better picture. There we go. So here's what you want to do from this block right here. So you're on the arm, you're at the top right hand corner of it right here. In front of here, you're going to want to do 3 orange coming out. So 1, 2, 3. So it just wants to come out by 1 in front of the face. What you then want to do, on top of that 3rd orange block, is just bring it right the way up until it connects with the brown that you placed earlier for the ears. So to give you a side view, it wants to look like that. Maybe that was an easy way to show you, but from a front view as well, you just want to have something which should look like that. And once you've done that on that side, you want to do the same thing on the other side. So for the top left hand corner of the shoulder, 1, 2, 3 coming out in front of the face, and then I'll show you from the side this time. So you came out both 3, and you just connect it to the brown that you did earlier, like that. So you've just got an L shape like that. So that is what you want to do. Let me just show you it from the front. That is all you need to do on the front of the hood for the time being. So once you've reached this point right here, pause this if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we're going to be coming around the back of the statue. So here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to, on the back of your statue, we usually raise out like the 8 back blocks, but this time, starting from here, you're going to want to raise out like these 10 blocks right here with your orange. So you're going to want to raise out these 10 blocks by 1 row. And then you're going to want to do it by 2 more rows once you've done that. So you're just going to want to do this. So starting from the top row of the back, you just want to extend out the 10 middle blocks of the back, protruding onto the arms by 1, like that with your orange by 3 rows. So it just wants to be overhanging the back of the statue by 3 rows, like that. Alright, so once you've reached this part right here, in which you now have 3 rows of 10 orange wool poking out of the back of your statue, it's time to finish off the head. And the rest of the head is extremely easy, and here's why. It is just entirely orange wool. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to come to the 2 back corners of the row of 3 tons of orange that I've just done. I'm going to raise them up, connect them to the front of the head like that, connecting them to the brown part of the ears like that. I'm going to do that on the other side as well, like so. Then just connect the 2 rows that I've done together at the back to form a giant cube-ish shape. And now all I'm going to do is just fill all of the faces of the cubey sort of giant rectangular thingy shape in with orange wool, and that will be that. There is nothing more that we have to do concerning the head once you have finished filling in all of the faces in with orange. Of course, you don't have to do it like this, you can do it however you want to do it, but as with most things, as long as you end up in the right place, it really doesn't matter how you accomplish them. So this is how I like to do things, kind of in trend with the with turning things into shapes and filling them in. I don't know why, that's how I like to do things. That's why I make pixel art like I do as well. I like to do the outline, make everything into shapes, and then just fill it in. It's how I've always operated. So just got this side to do now as well. Kind of a lengthy process, really. I would cut this out, but you guys have to do this as well, I figure, so may as well just leave it in here. So once you have finished filling it in, you should end up with something that should look a little bit like this. I'm not going to show you all the way around. You guys know that it's just completely orange, but it should just envelop the entire head like this, and around the back as well, just to show you. You don't want any holes or anything in it. You don't want any gaps. So once you've done that to the head, we only have one more thing to do, and it's not even a big deal. So on the front of the statue, you'll notice that we have these two orange bits that these 2 rows of orange that are on the, well, 4 rows of orange that are on the torso, and the little bit that we have down here. Well, all you're going to want to do on the front of your statue is you're just going to want to raise out all of the orange that you have on the front of the statue by 1 row. So you're just going to want to do this. And I believe that Mr. SlyFoxHound is wearing a jacket, and I think that what we've just raised out is simply part of his jacket. I don't know why he doesn't have any sleeves on the jacket. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what you want to do on the front of the statue once you've finished the head, and once you've reached this point right here, well, ladies and gents, you have yourself quite a fine finished statue. It is 100% complete at this point. I have nothing left to show you. Once you've reached this point right here, you have 100% finito. So let me just show you what we have here. Just rounding back to what we have on the front there. I originally thought, and I thought this until I realised about the orange on the back, I thought that he was wearing like an animal hat. I have one, admittedly. It's in the shape of a black bear. Like, you put it on your head, and it's got like 2 hanging pockets that come like right the way down to your hips, like they hang down, and I thought that's what this was. Like, I thought that's what the orange fox head was, but I went to the guy's channel and he seems to be wearing a jacket, and I'm not exactly sure why he doesn't have any orange on his arms. In a roundabout way, what I'm saying is, I have no idea what this guy is wearing, but I like it anyway. Maybe he's just also wearing an orange cloak. Maybe that's it, who knows? Who wouldn't wear a cloak? So, pretty nice skin if you ask me. I like it. Kind of creepy with the face and the slime on the shirt. I never realised it's kind of in the background there, just watching. Anyway, I hope you guys had an easy enough time making this. I hope it was easy enough to follow. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.